Road trip to Randsburg, a living ghost town in the always scenic Mojave Desert. Here is one of California's most unique living ghost towns. With a classy combination of history, culture, and scenic desert beauty, Randsburg makes for an interesting destination for those interested in ghost towns and the Old West. At the end of this video, I'll take you by Garlock, a dead ghost town. Today, Randsburg has a tiny population, but it's recognized for its historical significance and unique charm. Many of the original buildings still stand and allow visitors a glimpse into the past. Now, I'm not sure how some of the original buildings still stand because there was a really bad fire in 1903 that reportedly wiped out the whole town. Flanked against the vast and captivating Mojave Desert lies a town with a story like no other. Those traveling through the exploration-worthy Kern County, I promise you will be rewarded by stopping and spending an hour or two in Randsburg, down a narrow desert road to a curve leading to the living ghost town. Why don't you travel across America with me? We approached the town from the west. The first place we saw was the ice house and then the city jail. Both appeared closed. I don't think there were any convicts inside the jail. I didn't hear any ruckus or snoring. Some gold mining equipment is strewn in the yard, including a skip, which was used to move material through the mine shafts, and this ginormous tire off the rim. Gold was discovered on the slope of Rand Mountain in 1895. From this discovery, the town of Randsburg sprang up almost overnight. By 1899, the town had over 3,500 residents. Randsburg boasted a 100 stamp mill, and conservative estimates are that $60 million in gold was taken out of these mines in the area during the town's boom years. From 1895 till about 1933, the Yellow Aster mine produced almost $25 million worth of gold at the old gold prices of about $20 per ounce. The jail and White House saloon were host to many a miner, cowboy, farmer, Indian, and clamper during the peak of the mining period. This was a cute introduction, but we knew there had to be more historic buildings, so we decided to take the other way at the fork in the road, which reminds me of a saying I heard years ago: when you come to a fork in the road, take it. I try that as much as possible, believe me. As we rounded the bend, we saw patriotic ATVers and a couple porta potties. Important, right? As we pulled past some of the, quote, main drag, we chose to park under a little bit of shade and walk around. Many of the structures in Randsburg have been preserved to reflect the town's history. You could explore the exterior of most of the buildings, such as the old saloon, the general store, and the opera house. Some structures are there for exterior enjoyment and certainly make great photos. Some Harold Beck lived in Randsburg and dedicated his life to the wonderful gold mining history of this town. He loved finding gold, and he was famous for his Beck dry washer that was very efficient at trapping the gold particles in the rifled tray. Many years ago, he owned the Rand Desert Museum and was curator here for quite some time. The newspaper article next to this page was from 1968 and shows Harold alongside his invention. Of course, this is a place of ghost stories and legends, given its status as a ghost town. You may hear various tales from locals of hauntings and legends associated with the area, adding an eerie but fascinating element to this place. You might want to keep looking over your shoulder. Let me tell you a bit about the Yellow Aster Gold Mine that took a town from zero to an estimated 3,500 people in the course of 2 to 3 years. I've read 2,500 people. Like so many things in history, when you read more than one thing, the inconsistencies start. 3 friends, Frederick Moores, John Singleton, and Charles Burcham, discovered the Yellow Aster Gold Mine in 1895, and so was the beginning of the famous Rand Mining District. The Yellow Aster Gold Mine was the richest in Southern California, with more than $20 million of gold taken from it. That was gold prices back then. It was initially worked with dry washers, and later hard rock mining took over. There's that dry washer, like that Mr. Beck guy's invention. The Yellow Aster Mining and Milling Company owned 49 patented and 6 unpatented claims. It was the principal source of gold in Kern County and had an output of $12 million, most of which was mined and sold at pre-1934 prices. The mine was operated continuously by the Yellow Aster Mining and Milling Company from 1895 to 1918, closed until 1921, and then reopened and operated until 1933. It's been open and closed over the decades, but its history began here with these 3 friends. With all this talk of Rand, are you wondering what Rand means or represents? I was. Well, according to information at the museum, the area was named after the famous mining area of South Africa. We saw this sign on the current fire station. It's funny, right? Hey, please subscribe if you like backroad adventures and informative travel videos. Walking tours in Randsburg typically allow visitors to explore at a leisurely pace and with opportunities for interaction with local residents who can share stories and insights about the town's history and community. We had a great time chatting with the owner of the wind chime store. I really loved all her cactus, and she loved telling me about them. And if you need a haircut, be sure to double check on the barber's website when he's going to be in. I'm joking. Special activities are scheduled all year round in Randsburg. The Old West Days are held the 3rd Saturday in September. The day we were there, the dirt bikers and ATV enthusiasts had descended on Randsburg as a refreshment stop. We were almost the only other non-locals. The curator at the museum told us what was the most exciting way to get to the Rand District Cemetery, technically in Johannesburg. I had asked her where it was because I wanted to see Burrow Schmidt's grave. Have you seen my video on this man's hand-dug tunnel? Was he nuts or full of ingenuity? I think both. Here's the quick drive around the mountain. The curator had told us to look for Tony Seeger's grave, which was easy to spot since it was surrounded by a bed frame. Once we found Seeger's grave, we would find William Burroughs Schmidt's grave beside hers. After parking, I scanned the cemetery and headed for what appeared to be a bed frame.
Are you 100% sure about that?
After getting back to the car, we drove to the end of the street to the Shipsea mine gate and found it locked. What was left to do? Well, the historical sign provided information on the King Solomon mine, which was a small gold mine that was located by three brothers in 1896. Wonder why it's always three men. Does this keep the whole thing more legit? Who knows? If you know much about mining in those days, you would have learned that this business involved all kinds of deals that may not have been on the up and up. The two nearby ghost towns of Red Mountain and Johannesburg are not as exciting from what I saw. Johannesburg was once called the Queen City of the Rand. The 1919 discovery of silver in Red Mountain put a charge in that area. The California Rand silver mine was eventually known as the Kelly Mine and was the richest silver mine in California during the 1920s and produced millions and millions of dollars worth of silver. I don't really want to talk bad about these towns because I didn't take time to explore them. But from what we saw as we drove through them on U.S. Highway 395 on our way between Lone Pine and Barstow, I'd stick to seeing Randsburg. When researching, you might also come across devastating town fires. On June 6, 1903, it was reported in the Bisbee Daily Review that word came from Bakersfield that a fire had destroyed the entire town of Randsburg, since the entire town amounted to only one street. There is a fourth ghost town also nearby, and it's called Garlock. We were returning to our campground in Lancaster, north of LA, so we took the long way around from the Rand District Cemetery to see what Garlock was all about. I had no idea what to expect. Sometimes I don't do pre-research. I want to be surprised. Of course, it seemed as if everyone on the road was at this intersection of US 395 at the same time when we wanted to make our turn onto Garlock Road. Tell me in the comments, does this kind of thing happen to you? Well, not much to see here. A historical marker and some graffitied buildings and a few residences. Funny thing was, when we were headed west on Red Rock, Randsburg Road to go to Randsburg, and the sign indicated to veer right, we found ourselves on an exceedingly narrow road that seemed a long distance from anywhere. We wondered for a minute if we were on the right road. Eventually, the terrain became more rugged and we were hoping we'd see this ghost town soon. And we did. Speaking of Garlock and Barstow, gold ore was shipped to processing mills in both of these towns via the newly established Randsburg Railway. Wagon trains also hauled ore to Garlock. Due to the high cost of shipping the high-grade ore, stamp mills were constructed on site. Looks like Barstow's geographical position has given it staying power. Don't miss seeing the surviving Porter locomotive resting in the backyard of the Rand Desert Museum. Ugly shoes on the ground. Unclassic road trip. From golden fortunes to ghostly legends, Randsburg remains a place where history is written in dust and stone. The town has been preserved as a living ghost town, all waiting for people like you and me to come visit. Thank you for joining me on this adventure. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more explorations on our nation's backroads as I hunt down history. Until next time, happy exploring!